forget about the election and forget about the pandemic, because I have a much bigger question. Is hurricane season ever going to end? And I'm sure many of you are asking yourself the same exact question. Welcome back, my friends. October 23rd, 2020, 10:22 a.m. And those frequent flyers know the drill. We are here to track a few things, actually. Of course, we have Hurricane Epsilon currently at 85 miles an hour, 75 knots, 968 millibars in pressure, moving north at 7 miles per hour or 6 knots. But we also have another disturbance, 60% chance of cyclone formation inside the Caribbean. Check this out, guys. This is where most of our storms form this time of year. Keep in mind, we are in late October. We are entering the last week of October. And really quick to answer that question, of course, hurricane season is going to end, but it certainly doesn't feel like it's anytime soon. And I'm going to show you that on the GFS chart, the European and the Canadian model. But just to refresh your memory, check this out. The Atlantic hurricane season begins on 1 June or June 1st to 30 November or the 30th of November. So we do have another month and a week of official hurricane season. We've had storms well after that date, keep in mind. Also, keep in mind as I scroll through this page that some of our biggest hurricanes ever in the Atlantic Ocean have been in the month of October. For example, Hurricane Hazel. We had Hurricane Opal, Hurricane Wilma. Many of us remember that. Hurricane Sandy. We definitely remember that in the Northeast. Hurricane Michael, the change to Category 5 hurricane in Florida, and the October hotspots. Check this out and look at where our next storm is forming, right in this area, right in this deep burgundy red cone that we have. This is where most of our storms form this time of year, and they are big ones. All right, and now that I'm done rambling about a little bit of that statistical stuff that we all love to talk about, we are going to track Epsilon. Now, Epsilon is taking a very similar path to what you guys remember as Hurricane Teddy. And we can see that right here. This is Teddy's track. This was back a little while back. We tracked Hurricane Teddy, and you can see it kind of went up towards Canada, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia area. This is to the upper northeast of the United States. Here is the west side of Africa, and this thing tracked all the way across the warm water belt and then went up into that western part of the Atlantic Ocean. Now take a look at Epsilon. And although likely Epsilon will hook to the east before hitting those parts of Canada this time, I'm just showing a very similar pattern, and you can see that right here with the remaining spaghetti plots for Epsilon. And we can see it kind of cuts right under that part of Canada and then up into the northern Atlantic. And looks like it's going to remain a hurricane until midday Sunday, which is pretty interesting to see this thing still being a hurricane at this time. And now we got to check out what's going on in the Caribbean, guys. This is pretty serious. And it's not always easy to make sense of this stuff, but take a look at the tropics here, that central Caribbean area starting to fire up just underneath Cuba. And that's important to know as we set up looking at this invest disturbance. 60% chance of cyclone formation, 50% over the next 2 days. That's important to understand. So this thing may form before that 5-day mark, having that 50% chance in the next 2 days, and it's all going to depend on land interaction within Cuba. And we could see multiple storms actually coming out of this system. So I'm going to show you the GFS model right now, and you can see right here, this is Epsilon, and we're going to see that disturbance pop up and actually form, and then we're going to see something later in November. I don't even want to get into that yet, but we are showing a lot of activity in the month of November, and that is not too common, but it's also not the most rare thing in the world. So what you're going to see here is Epsilon take its track out into the Atlantic and kind of end its path, and then we're going to see that disturbance pop up in here, that 50% chance over 2 days, and we're going to see two little formations take place here, and a little bit of a Fujiwara effect. And then the first week of November is what's really concerning me, because that is what's popping up to be a very hot time for this chart. As we move forward, you can see we are now into October 26th, and we can see two little systems that kind of combine themselves in the tropics there. And as I move forward, we see one of them emerge. So we do have the formation of one of those. We don't have any guarantee in that yet. We still have some time to check it out. But look what happens as we move past Halloween, which is obviously the 31st. Keep in mind we have a full moon on Halloween, the second full moon of this month, the blue moon of October 31st, 2020. Of course, in 2020, we have two full moons on Halloween. But take a look at this. By November 2nd, we have a lot going on here. We have a system forming in the tropics and a system forming right off the outer banks of the Carolinas. plenty of time for this to change, but the fact that it's showing this much activity is definitely cause for concern, especially for those who actually believe that the dates of June 1st to November 30th are the cut, start, and end points of the Atlantic hurricane season, and it's simply just not true. We had multiple storms this year in May, which are very much earlier than June 1st, and we've had many storms after November 30th. We've had storms in December and even January. So the long and short of it is that these storms do form inside and outside of those dates, and we really need to look at the tropics at this point. These are the current spaghetti plots for that new Invest 94L, or 95L, I'm sorry. Yes, Invest 95L, and we can kind of see a main path brings it over Cuba into southern Florida and then hooks that western edge of southern Florida and then kind of zigzags in between those southeastern states there. Also, some plots bring it into the Gulf, so we have plenty of time to watch this form. The most important thing to understand is that we have it forming. That's what we want to understand. And to top it off, a little bit off topic as far as hurricanes and other sorts of weather, we had some interesting weather tearing right through the middle of the country yesterday. We'll be talking about the U.S. weather and Canada a lot more in the coming days. But first things first is we need to get through this hurricane season, and I appreciate all of you that have followed it with me throughout the entire year, and I appreciate those of you that stay with the channel. For those of you that have not yet, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Every little bit helps, and I appreciate putting this content out for you on a daily basis. Please be safe out there. I will be back if anything significant happens between now and tomorrow, pretty much. I'll be back tomorrow morning, and we'll be posting again on a regular basis. Thank you all so much. Shout out to Canada, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.